For today's headlines, Duterte approves DOF recommendation to keep excise tax on oil. Sotto backs minimum daily wage hike. Oil buffer being increased according to Cusi. Returning OFW help assured. Southern Leyte power still in limbo. Teachers exam second placer gets cash award. Southeast Asian Games volley squad formed. Shivering evacuees drive to safety from Ukraine's besieged Mariupol. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and this is Tribune News on Q. Today is March 16, 2022 and these are the latest news this Wednesday morning. President Rodrigo Duterte has approved the Department of Finance recommendation to keep excise tax on oil, but stressed that revenues should be used to subsidize bottom 50% of Filipino households. In his report during the talks to the people, Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez said instead of suspending the fuel excise tax under the train law, the government should provide financial support to the targeted population. Dominguez added that the government will provide 200 peso monthly per family annually to the bottom 50% of Filipino households. He added that this will amount to 33.1 billion pesos budgetary requirements. On the other hand, Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi assured a sufficient supply of oil amid the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Cusi also backed the DOF recommendation to retain excise tax on oil and provide financial support to affected sectors. Senate President Vicente Tito Sotto III wants to increase double the daily minimum wage of workers in the private sector amid the continuous spike in the prices of petroleum products in the country. In a chance interview in Tuguegarao City, Sotto said workers in the capital region should receive at least 1,000 peso wage per day to help them cope with the rising prices of commodities due to the oil price hike. The current minimum wage stands from 500 pesos to 537 pesos per day, and on Monday, the Trade Union Congress of the Philippines filed a petition at the Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board, an attached agency of the Department of Labor and Employment, and sought a 1,007 peso daily wage for all workers in Metro Manila, or an uptick of 470 pesos. The labor group argued that the continuing increases in the price of oil triggered by the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the ensuing economic and digital war will further push the prices of food and other essential items upwards. It further added that the present monthly take-home pay of 12,843.48 pesos is far below the 16,625 peso per month poverty threshold for a family of 5 in Metro Manila. For his part, Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson said he will leave it to the Regional Wage Board to decide on the matter. He said authorities should consider the living wage of residents and not real wages, given there are differences in the cost of living between regions. The Department of Energy has appealed to consumers to refrain from panic buying amid another round of hikes in the local pump prices of petroleum products. In an episode of Daily Tribune's TV and online show Gising Na, Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi said the country has more than enough supply of oil and that the government remains on top of the situation. Cusi asked the public to carry out efficient use of energy and to save money, avoiding unnecessary trips and avoid panic buying because it's a dangerous practice. He added that storing crude oil or gasoline in large containers put just the families at risk, but also the properties and those living nearby. The energy chief likewise pointed out that the government is expediting the implementation of the country's petroleum reserve plan. As part of the short-term plan, the government will lease available and spare tanks of the oil importers to store the additional reserves. It will also contract an oil company to handle its orders for buffer stocking. Since the government does not have enough storage facilities, the DOE will partner with the private sector to access their facilities across the country. But for the long-term plan, the government would require the state-run Philippine National Oil Company to build its storage tank. Cusi had already cited Batangas and Bataan as possible locations where the proposed oil depot can be constructed. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
Mahalin natin ang Pilipinas.
Lilipad na ang agila, magtatanggol, magmamahal sa ating bansa.
We shall fly, soar, fight, and win!
Makinig at makisali sa usapan every Friday night at 6 p.m. sa I Speak Katribu Podcast. Samahan sina Daniel at Alvin na pag-usapan ang mga relevant topic na tiyak kakarelatean nyo mga katribu. At pagdating ng Sunday at 7 p.m., Speak Your Mind with our I Speak program na sasagot sa mga tanong regarding the latest and relevant issues sa paligid natin. I-like at i-follow nyo ang Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube para updated ka sa mga latest episode namin mga katribu. Fun and inspiring na kwentuhan? Sagot na yan ang programang Spotlight ng Daily Tribune. Makipagkwentuhan at kilalanin ng iba't ibang personalidad na kilala sa kani-kanilang larangan. Manood at makinig sa mga inspiring stories na kanilang ibabahagi kasama si Nina Ventura at Jojo Silvestre. Be ready ng mamangha at matuwa every Thursday alas 2 ng hapon dito lang sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube. Non-stop showbiz update ba ang hanap nyo? Sagot na yan ang aming Tribune Extra. Balitang entertainment at lifestyle, mapalocal man o international, meron kami niyan. Manood at makichika na kasama si Kim Sancha Lunes hanggang Biyernes alas 5 ng hapon sa Tribune News on Q at separate premiere nito ng alas 7:30 ng gabi. Mapapanood sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube.
Tribune News on Q. PDP Laban senatorial candidate Astra Pimentel on Tuesday assured returning overseas Filipino workers from Ukraine and Russia that the Philippine government is ready to help them. The former Energy Undersecretary also underscored the need for OFW to be given counseling and therapy, particularly to women and their children who might have experienced seeing firsthand the effects of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Pimentel said they need to prioritize the security and safety of our countrymen affected by the war between Ukraine and Russia. The aspiring senatorial bet pointed out that Overseas Workers Welfare Administration is prepared to provide financial aid and livelihood assistance and noted that the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration can help repatriated OFW find a new job destination should they want to return abroad, while the Department of Labor and Employment is also ready to provide them jobs locally should they opt to stay in the Philippines. The Southern Leyte Electric Cooperative, or Soleco, revealed that following the onslaught of Typhoon Odette last year, only 268 of the 500 villages in southern Leyte have been powered up. Soleco said that as of March 14, only 66,116 houses and establishments have been energized out of the 105,787 affected power consumers. The power cooperative said that only 53.28% of villages are already partially energized within the coverage area of Soleco. For consumer status, 62.5% are already energized. Meantime, all 23 villages of Pintuyan Town and all 15 villages of San Ricardo Town are still without electricity, affecting nearly 5,000 households in these two typhoon-ravaged towns, while power has been fully restored in the towns of San Juan and Silago with over 7,000 households. The power cooperative is expected to fully restore its services to all towns by the end of March. Task Force Kapatid, composed of personnel from electric cooperatives in Eastern Visayas, has deployed over 100 linemen to repair damaged distribution facilities. They were augmented by teams from power cooperatives in Luzon. Meanwhile, the Caloocan City government presented a cash award of 50,000 pesos to Vince William Cabotaje of the University of Caloocan City, or UCC, who placed second in the January 2022 licensure examination for teachers for the secondary level. Mayor Oka Malapitan personally handed over the cash award and certificate of recognition to Cabotaje yesterday. According to Malapitan, Cabotaje and other UCC graduates who became top-notchers in board exams are proof that UCC is already one of the best universities in the country. He said that UCC has come a long way in the field of education, and there have been top-notchers in accounting, education, criminology, and others. This is the result of free but quality education at the university. Therefore, they will continue to provide funding for the university so that there will be many more talented Batang Caloocans. Cabotaje sincerely thanked the mayor for his support to UCC, as well as Representative Along Malapitan, who promoted free university education. Cabotaje also thanked his parents and teachers who taught him the knowledge and lessons of life. Tribune News on Q will be back. Stay with us.
Ang Daily Tribune may digital shows na din. Dahil sa mas lumalaki at mas lumalakas nating tribu, handog sa inyo ng Daily Tribune ang mga programang magbibigay buhay araw-araw. Be informed at mag-good vibes tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Be updated sa news and happenings sa Tribune News on Q. Mas kilalanin pa natin ang mga paborito nyong atleta sa programang The Athletes Tribune. Alamin ang latest entertainment sa programang What's Up. Ma-inspire sa mga kwentong hatid ng Perfect. Search lang ang Daily Tribune sa inyong Facebook at Tribune Now on YouTube. See you there, mga katribu! Alamin ang latest entertainment at sa mga paborito nyong celebrities kasama si Pocholo Concepcion sa programang What's Up. Makibanding at kwentuhan kasama ang mga kilalang personalidad sa entertainment industry. Sama-sama natin silang kilalanin at silipin ang makulay nilang mundo every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Kaya sit back and relax lang kayo, mga katribu. Hanapin at ilike ang Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube. Dahil sagot na namin ang masayang kwentuhan dito lang sa What's Up. Mga katribu, tara na't makiisa at matuto sa mga public service programs hatid ng Kalingang Katribu. Tuwing Lunes, nandyan ang usapang business na magbibigay tips at inspirasyon sa mga aspiring entrepreneurs kasama si Vernon Velasco. Tuwing Miyerkules, usapang pangkalusugan naman ang tatalakayin ni Miss Cory Quirino sa Health and Wellness. At tuwing Biyernes naman, kung legal advice ang kailangan mo, sagot ka na ng Legal Diaries kasama si Elmer Navarro Manuel at mga guest lawyers. Lahat ng yan mapapanood tuwing alas 3:30 ng hapon sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube.
You are still watching Tribune News on Q. Veteran hitters Jaja Santiago and Alyssa Valdez led 14 other players named Tuesday by the Philippine National Volleyball Federation, or PNVF, in the national women's squad, which will compete in the Hanoi Southeast Asian Games in May. The PNVF said that the squad will fly to Brazil on April 12 for training camp as the Filipinas look to end a long medal drought since winning bronze in the 2005 edition of the biennial meet held in Manila. Santiago, who plays in the highly competitive Japan V League, is making her return to the squad after skipping the 2019 Southeast Asian Games, while Valdez is on her fourth straight stint in the regional meet. Exhausted, shivering, and traveling in cars with shattered windscreens or no windows, some of the first evacuees from Ukraine's besieged Mariupol drove into the nearest safe city of Zaporizhia Tuesday. Around 20,000 people managed to leave the encircled port city Tuesday through a humanitarian corridor agreed with Russian forces, President Volodymyr Zelensky's Deputy Chief of Staff, Kirilo Timoshenko, said on Telegram. Those in the remaining cars were forced to spend the night along the route, Timoshenko said. Arriving in small batches, private vehicles with scraps of white material tied to the wing mirrors in a sign of truce pulled into the car park of a shopping center on the city's outskirts, which is now a registration center for displaced people. They described a harrowing journey, forced to drive off-road to avoid Russian troops and checkpoints and facing the constant threat of enemy fire on the way. The city of Zaporizhia is the first safe port of call for those fleeing Mariupol, many of whom are heading towards the country's west and perhaps onto Poland or other bordering countries. Tuesday's evacuation was much larger than Monday, when a group of 160 cars left Mariupol, according to the city council. The first successful evacuations come after several failed attempts since Russian forces surrounded the port city on the Azov Sea early this month. And that wraps up the stories this morning, but before we go, we would like to thank the following: SM Store, Aranda City, Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, Empire Eastland Holdings Incorporated, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Venice Bautista on Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning.
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its Viber community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tercito are available on our community Viber.